Working out to build muscle does not need to be this flashy. Literally just do a barbell bench press, a dumbbell bench press, a machine press, something else, just not this. Hello guys, my name is Nelson. I am a fitness coach, and today I'm going to be reviewing Zac Efron's Baywatch workout. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Patrick Murphy, and I was hired to train Zac Efron for the movie Baywatch. I had to get him in the best shape of his life.
Okay, so this guy was hired to get Zac Efron in the best shape of his life. So let's see how he does it.
I had to get Zac in the best shape of his life. I decided to introduce the supersetting workouts. And what that entailed was 2 exercises followed back to back without rest. This created an elevated heart rate, which maxed calorie burning. This created muscle efficiency, high muscular endurance.
So supersets are all right if you're short on time, but if you're able to do regular straight sets, then your performance on each individual exercise is going to be better, and this will lead to more muscle growth. Whereas if you are supersetting, a lot of the times a limiting factor is going to be cardiovascular failure, which is, being unable to breathe because you just did a set of lat pull downs and now you're doing another set of bench press. But that's not what we want. When we're looking to grow muscle, we're looking for intensity in our resistance training, and that means going close to muscular failure.
Okay guys, let's start with a dynamic warm-up. I'm gonna wake up Albert's body with dynamic stretching, get some blood in his shoulder. Are you ready? Let's do it. External rotations. Focus on the rotator cuff, keep the shoulder.
Okay, so this warm-up is a pretty common one, and it's pretty nice, especially if you are gonna hop into a set of a pressing movement like the bench press or the dumbbell bench press. It's a good idea to warm up the rotator cuffs in this fashion.
Leg swings, 15 each side, and curl the leg and super straight. Reach, reach. In, good. 3, excellent.
It looks like he's doing some sort of like ballerina move here. So obviously, a warm-up is a good idea to prevent injury and to get the body ready for exertion. The first one I think is good, especially if you're going to hop into a pressing movement right after. However, this warm-up is a little bit too overcomplicated. It's a lot more than it needs to be. What I would recommend is just simply 5 minutes, slow and steady on the treadmill, get the body used to moving, get the temperature up a little bit, and then hop straight into warming up for the actual exercise that you're going to be doing, but using lighter weights.
Ready for the workout? Let's do this. All right, guys, let's get into supersetting. 2 exercises repeated back to back without any rest. We're doing 3 rounds with all of these exercises. 3 rounds, 15 to 20 reps. Here we go. Great stabilization for the ankle. Wonderful.
All right, so the first exercise, pretty standard. Lateral raises, very good exercise to build the medial delts, give that roundness to the muscle. And it seems like the form is fine. He's raising them up, not swinging too much. There's eccentric control on the way down. So I like this exercise. This one's good.
There you go. Excellent. Perfect range. Boom.
So front raises, they're a pretty good exercise for hitting the anterior deltoid. But if you're gonna hit the medial and then the anterior deltoid and you want both to be hit, why not just do a compound movement like the dumbbell shoulder press?
There we go. Right over here. Okay, no shrugging the shoulders, pull with the elbows. Good. Focus behind you. Your hands are just hooks. Pull from your elbows. Wonderful.
So the inverted row, pretty decent exercise, but I think a machine row or a barbell row setup would be a lot more efficient because, once you get pretty strong to the point where you're going to need 30, 40 inverted body weight rows to achieve an intensity that's close to failure, right? That's going to take a longer time than just loading up a lot of resistance on a barbell row and doing 8 reps and getting really close to failure.
Superset number 1. Let's do superset number 2. Abs in, drive through your ankles. Go to sit down.
So with the kettlebell squats, there's only so much weight that you can load with your hands, right? Whereas with a barbell back squat or with a leg press, you're going to be able to put a lot more resistance onto the exercise and put your quads through a lot more mechanical tension, which will generally drive muscle growth.
Straight lines, boom, step down, good, beautiful, perfect. Straight up.
Okay, so we're doing box jumps, which I think is probably beneficial if you're looking for athletic performance. But if you're trying to pack on muscle into your legs, this is definitely not the best option. You're just jumping around. There isn't enough resistance. That's kind of the key to building muscle. You need resistance. You need to put the mechanical tension on the muscle.
Nice. No elevated shoulders, right? Abs in.
All right, so we have these banded reverse flies, which I'm guessing he's trying to target, the rear delts and maybe mid-back muscles with this exercise. But you have a cable machine right there. Why not just do it on there? The resistance profile is going to be a lot more equal because with the bands, it's going to be super hard at the very back, like unnecessarily hard. Whereas you can have, a more even resistance profile if you just set it up on the regular cable machine here. Also, it seems that his tempo is kind of off. He's kind of getting rushed through the eccentric. He's not really taking his time to let the rear delt get that eccentric stretch. Instead, he's kind of like bouncing it forward and backwards. Just notice that his tempo is a little bit off. Because if you're trying to maximize hypertrophy and you're trying to stimulate the muscle, you really need to work on that eccentric because that is where a lot of muscle growth is going to be happening. So nice and slow, really stretch out that muscle on the way back.
Up. Excellent. 2, 3.
Okay, so this Bosu ball push-up is not going to be good for muscle growth. You're adding an element of instability with the Bosu ball, which prevents you from loading the pecs adequately. The bouncing that is happening here is pretty much a waste of time, and it's not going to result in more muscle growth. Working out to build muscle does not need to be this flashy. Literally just do a barbell bench press, a dumbbell bench press, a machine press, something else, just not this. Why it doesn't need to be this fancy.
Drive back through the right ankle, past the foot, really focus on your left leg. This exercise is very important because we're taking away the forces out of your knee joint.
So these reverse lunges are actually a pretty decent exercise for your quads and hamstrings. You just want to make sure that you're going to be able to load this exercise properly, preferably by using some lifting straps and grabbing some heavy dumbbells and then doing a very stimulating set.
Alternating hop, control, soft landing, good.
Again, we're doing some sort of cardio here. I have nothing against cardio, but I don't understand why it needs to be in the middle of a weightlifting workout. This is actually just going to tire you out and decrease your performance for those resistance exercises that are actually going to build muscle. So overall, cardio in the middle of the workout, not going to help you build muscle at all. If anything, you want to be fresh for those resistance training exercises where you're pushing heavy weight and your performance will then be high, so then you can, stimulate your muscle to grow a ton.
Chest presses from the floor are so great for your shoulder joint. It stabilizes your whole body when we press from the ground. This is the best way to develop your chest.
So here we're on superset 5, we're doing a floor press, which is, what he says to be the best way to develop your chest, but I disagree because with the floor press, you're only able to get so far back before your elbows are limited by touching the floor. Instead, if you're on a regular bench, you can go even deeper into a stretch, and this is really, really good for developing your chest because your pec muscles are going to be lengthening under eccentric load, and that is when the muscle is going to be stimulated for growth.
Zero compression on your spine when you create imaginary chair. Excellent row.
So now we have an imaginary chair high row, and again, for this type of exercise, the problem is, loading up, putting on the resistance here. There's going to be a problem with that because he is on his feet, and if he loads up a lot of heavy weight, then his body is just going to be sent flying forward and he's going to be pulled into the machine. There is just not enough stability in this exercise to support a high intensity. Instead, if we're doing a machine row with a chest support, then we get that extra stability, we can put on a lot of resistance, and then we can have high intensity when we work out. And that's going to be great for muscle growth.
The abs do one operation, they spinal flex. So
for the abs, the body weight exercises are okay, but ideally we want something that we can progressively overload and add more weight to, like a cable crunch. However, I doubt that Zac even wants to grow abs. He's probably just looking for that shredded six-pack look, which can be achieved by being in a caloric deficit and losing fat.
Good, hip extensions, opposite of the seated position. Good, strengthens everything behind you.
So here we're doing a single leg hip thrust, and hip thrusts are great for building the glutes, but again, there's a problem with the loading here. We can't load this exercise much because it's just a body weight exercise. So a barbell hip thrust is going to be way better, because for this single leg body weight hip thrust, you're probably going to have to do like 50, 60 reps to get remotely close to failure. And at that point, you're not even in the right rep range for optimal hypertrophy, which is doing 5 to 30 reps. So something like a barbell hip thrust would be much better. You can load it up, put that resistance on, and achieve a high intensity and fail within the 8 to 10 rep range.
All right, that was the workout. If you want to find out more.
Okay, so overall, I would give this workout a 3 out of 10. There were some good exercises like the lateral raises, the reverse lunges, but the unnecessary supersets, the lack of loading in the exercises, and the mid-session cardio makes this a poor workout for those who are really trying to look to pack on muscle. And I know you guys might be saying, oh, Zac Efron isn't really going for that Arnold Schwarzenegger big bodybuilder look. Sure, but the solution isn't just to give him a crappy weightlifting workout, right? You can give him an optimal workout for muscle building and then just decrease his training frequency if you don't want him to get too big, or just don't put him into a caloric surplus. So now once you give him that workout that is optimal for muscle hypertrophy, you could just make sure that his cardio and his diet are on point so that he can achieve that shredded look. And it's quite surprising how he's able to achieve this level of muscularity and, being so shredded while doing a workout like this. I'm not sure if this is the only trainer that he had, or if, on the side he was training with someone else, actually doing, muscle stimulating resistance exercises. But I will say that he did probably get a lot of help getting into shape because of, special supplements. But, it's very unlikely that just doing this routine would have, made his physique and gotten him to his muscularity and his level of shreddedness, right? But it's pretty insane thinking that if he did have an optimal workout, he could have looked even better, especially if he was on the special sauce. And that's the end of the review. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that or learned something new. If you're looking for coaching or programs, you can find that in the link in my bio. Thank you guys for watching.